Okay, we're live. This is Blackjack Davy, and joining me is Sid, one of the strongest players on the site. We're doing commentary for the season's playoff game of Agricola, and we have Kimball, the two seed from the regular season, WSE Frank, the three seed, Fofo, the six seed, and M&M, the seventh seed, playing with playoff spots available. Um, and they're in the middle of the draft, but while they're drafting, we'll just kind of pull up some we've been messing around with numbers and standings to see what can happen. And it looks like there is a way for all four players to potentially make it into the final. You can see that the playoff game we did a couple weeks ago, Doe Academy and Mike are in for sure. And then some players need a little help. Some players, basically, Kimball has the easiest route. A first or second is in for sure. A third gets in unless Fofo is first and WSE is second. So even a third can get him in. WSE needs at least a second and can possibly get him to the third if Eminem wins. Fofo has to win. Nothing doesn't matter where anyone else finishes. Eminem has to win and has needs Fofo to get second. That's the only way outside of some ties where he can get in. So that's what we're looking like. And right before you joined, Sid, I went over and looked at Andy's draft. I got over there and he had first picked a market woman, and he put in chat that he passed farm steward.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know. I didn't see the pack to see what he was trying to wheel or what the reason for that was because I don't think that's something people normally do. But
It's usually not going to be. Well, there are some hawks that trigger on veg, but typically you pick Market Woman for combos with miners, or maybe you have like a veggie lover or something. Farm Steward and Market Woman are pretty close in value, I think.
okay,
Market Woman has more combos. Farm Steward is just very consistent.
yeah, and I guess
And
I'm sure I didn't see the pack like I said, but I'm sure Fofo snapped up the farm steward
yeah,
for her.
I think personally I like Farm Steward more, but that's just because I like having cheap ways to get to four. Like being on three people can be a very strong game, but you do rely quite a bit on the round 12 and round 13 order then, usually.
Right.
Um, and I find that can be a bit painful for me. It sort of depends, I guess, on like where you want to put like how much variance you're willing to tolerate.
And I
Um,
guess for Kimball knowing that it's in the game means it's not going to sneak up on him the way it potentially could with
yeah,
WSC and Eminem.
yeah. I mean that can be a problem sometimes, but honestly, it's not such a big deal. Most of the time, it doesn't matter. You can sort of see Farm Steward coming.
Yeah,
Um,
usually. Yeah. So I
we
mean,
do have a the sets that we play with tend to have a decent amount of edge miners. So, like, if you get the right miner, Market Woman is obviously just insane.
uh huh.
But I think a Market Woman by itself with no combos is considerably worse than Farm Steward. So you're sort of betting on getting something, or you just have a good wheel. Like I don't know the full pack, so there might have just
Right.
been something
Yeah.
good in that pack to wheel.
I'm gonna let them know they can start as soon as the.
So I'm a little bit sick, so might have a few coughs.
So yeah, like I said, uh, Kimball ended up being the one seed from the season. Oh, here they go. They're ready already. Oh, Football starting with Airmite.
Kimball's a two seed, right? Doe was the one seed,
Oh,
I think, going
oh,
in.
that's right. Yeah, two seed. And oh, we had Airmite in the last playoff game as well, if I remember.
Yeah, Kristen played it, right? I think.
That's right. Yep, yep. Kristen played in the other playoff game.
Yeah. Hermite's a good card. I mean, it's it's just solid and Stonehouse Builder coming out. So this is a very interesting card. It's often a trap. Like so, what this card allows you to do is it allows you to take Redstone food even if someone else is there. So it allows you to use it unblockably with your second action, and then it allows you to build Stonehouse rooms for cheaper, like stone rooms for cheaper. Critically, it actually provides a discount and on stone rooms rather than setting a fixed price. So it combos with all other like stone room carpenter. The carpenter plus stone house builder will let you build stone rooms for one stone and two reed, for example. However, using it to spam redstone food early, unless you have a way to use that reed very efficiently, is not ideal. Like it throws a lot of redstone into the game, devaluing the action that you're taking a lot. but it's a very interesting combo card. Like it often does nothing, and then if it does something, it usually breaks the game. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, see what Eminem got to combo with it. Maybe. Of course, he goes
Yeah.
for it in round one, as
I mean,
expected.
on turn one, you should pretty much always go for it because the second action is just so bad. If you're in like C3, like you could take day labor or plow here, and if you don't have a reason to, there's no reason to day labor or redstone food. And I mean, plow is generically fine, but you also usually want a reason to plow it instead of taking redstone food. So
Hmm.
I suspect we will see him use it a little bit, but you have to be a little bit careful about also getting the payoffs for the reed and stone pretty quickly. Then,
Right. Kimball just being patient
uh,
here, staying in the four seat, on the field.
yeah, I mean, it's not surprising from Kimball. Like
Yeah, he's
he's pretty okay taking plow or day labor on turn one, and I think those are pretty good moves. So there's no reason not to. The fact that we saw plow instead of day labor suggests that he either has a really good food plan already and doesn't need day labor, or he has some reason to plow early. Wow, educator. That is probably the
oh,
strongest stock we've seen in the entire.
patroness.
I guess did we have a patroness in the first game?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
Montu had played
Yeah.
one. Yep, that's right.
So this is pretty comparable to patroness. Oh, and now I see the combo.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good combo, landing that. So let's go over educator first. It's one of the strongest occupations in the game, and it just lets you play an occupation when someone else plays an occupation. The second, and third occupations cost 3 food, so they're a bit expensive, but you still are able to play occupations a little bit ahead of time because you can't really get blocked on playing occupations with this unless you don't have enough food. And then from the fourth occupation onwards, it's just really cheap. Like 2 food for an occupation is a very good deal. It does take a lot of food out of the game, so you do need to have a good food plan, and it puts pressure on other people to get their food as well. So
Yeah, and usually
um,
you're looking for some sort of food benefit or way to get early food when you have an educator.
yeah, some sort of like occupation that I can actually help you get the food for the card is really strong.
Oh,
Mushroom collector is maybe. I mean, it's something. And here you see WC Frank make a pretty good move, which is he has educator. He can play Ox even if someone else plays Ox, but he goes ahead and plays the Ox anyway. That's because 2 food in like round 2 when you're educator is probably you were going to day labor anyways just to get the food, and the occupation action is essentially equivalent to someone else playing occupation and you taking day labor, so you might as well just get your occupation out. And now he has a food occupation. He can get food on wood, so he can start playing his occupations when other people play occupations, and he can take wood to get to sort of fuel the food costs.
right.
And then we saw Eminem play Landing Net, which is just a really good combo with a Stonehouse Builder. He can always take Wheatstone food. Landing Net gives him tons of food for taking Wheatstone food. He'll probably build a basket maker's workshop at some point. Although,
Interesting that he opened with it here instead of waiting to
eh,
copy.
yeah, I guess he doesn't want Kimball to get first room, is sort of the thinking here, I'm guessing. If he doesn't take Wheatstone food, Kimball gets Wheatstone food. And then he has room parts already, and so he's last in the queue. Having said that, wood is usually a big problem for these type of games. Like if you're going very hard on the Reedstone food, well, if someone else takes all the wood, you're not really getting any value here. So this is annoying for Kimball though, because now Fofo gets first room potentially,
Hmm.
which may or may not matter, and she may or may not go for it. No, but she does. It looks like she does. Yeah.
William's probably taking food with wood.
Yeah. Also, also an interesting counterpoint to like William has played Educator, but people really haven't played Occupations very much here. So, but now Micah Eminem is going to drop an occupation, a stone cutter. Okay.
Okay, that goes a little bit with Stonehouse Builder.
Yeah, so like this is like more discounts on stone rooms. So this is shaping up for Micah to have a very degenerate stone room game. If he has carpenter on top of this, his stone rooms don't cost him any stone anymore.
And then the rock
So that can
slide,
get very silly.
the dream
Yeah,
room would be
yeah.
that.
You're a little bit low for me, Derek. I'm
Oh,
going to
sorry.
put you up. No, it's okay. I'm just going to turn your volume up on Discord. See if that fixes it.
Might be on my end. I think the last video I was
Okay. No occupation from William, despite having a decent amount of food. That's very strange. Like playing educator and then not using it early is weird. I mean, you can take educator and intend to play it mid game, and that's still often fine because people often have good mid game occupations they want to play. But then playing it in round one, playing a manual occupation and then not using it on the third activation is very weird.
yeah, something's off.
Uh,
I don't know what he's angling for.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe he has a minor that requires exactly 2 occupations. Oh, he plays it here. Okay, that was just strange. What if no one plays expensive occupation? I guess he was just intending to play it himself if no one plays expensive occupation.
Maybe so.
But that doesn't really make sense with this mushroom collector line. So I don't know. That line was a bit weird.
This is not a
Um,
card I see played often. Um,
I like it very much, actually. Like, it's a really fun card, and if you have the right setup for it, it just does a lot. This gives you animals if you have empty rooms. Um, and the idea is often you'll build like 5 rooms, and then on the first row you'll get some stuff. On the second row you'll get some stuff, and then you just won't grow to the third room because you don't need to. And the sort of 2 food per round, or 1 sheep per round, or even better if you're in clay or stone, is just better.
huh.
Like your fifth action is often not doing very much, and getting an animal per round is pretty strong. So.
Hill Bandit here just in time to grab the first trigger off whoever builds fireplace after them.
I mean, no one's going to be building fireplace in a hurry here. It's a late sheep. Fofo is looking to try and get the animals and hold them. Maybe she builds the fireplace so no one else does. But Mike, this looks a lot like Eminem has a 3-oc miner.
Huh. Yeah.
But of course, it might just be for the first fireplace. Like, I just don't see it paying off very quickly. There might also be a lot of clay miners in the draft. It's very hard to tell that from like without having seen it. So that's often if you've seen a lot of clay miners, you're more urgent. You have more urgency playing the Hill Bandit.
So as soon as Kimball got room parts, Fofo built, and at worst she was going to be second maybe. But
There's no reason not to build there.
yeah,
Like the way it's set up, it's not like her building allows like WC Frank to build a second room. I'm just going to call him William. I can't say his like username. It's just such a mouthful. So it's yeah. Andy, Fofo, William, and Micah are the 4 players from left to right. So if we say that, that's what we mean.
here
Um,
comes the fireplace.
yeah, like if her intention was to build the fireplace second, she might as well build the room here. Largely because it doesn't. I mean, it mostly doesn't matter. No one else is building second room except Kimball, Andy. So if he builds a second room and she doesn't want to park, she just can choose to do so, right? This just gives her more options.
A great card for Fofo here with Aramite since it's passing would be the mini pasture potentially.
That'd be very strong here, yeah.
With like it could get workaholic started and
Yeah. I mean, presumably she has farm steward as well here.
yeah, we think she might have
Which means she might be looking at like 5 clay as a pretty urgent grab. And it should get to her. My guess is, again, Micah's going for stone room, so he's going to take the 5 clay actually. So 4 clay might get to Volvo if she's interested. But this should be a 5 clay grab from Micah. The way he's ignored wood entirely, it strongly suggests he's going for clay rooms.
yeah, 6 wood was a nice payoff for W for
He had
William.
a SP into it. It does happen sometimes in round 4. Like this is around the time where you get 6 wood actions. And then after about stage 3, 6 wood actions just disappear because people have actions. Of course, if Gross is late, then that changes things sometimes.
I wonder if Andy will just build first here. He doesn't have to, but
I mean, there's 5 food on the board. There's 4 clay on the board. Micah is taking wood. Eminem is not going for a clay room then, I guess.
hmm.
Immediate, not clay room. I mean, not going for renovation immediately.
All right. Even though he's
Yeah,
taking 5, yeah,
yeah, as expected. Like Kimball takes 5 food.
just a good action, yeah.
It's very strong in a game with Educator too. You know that there's going to be and late sheep. There's just going to be like food problems here, and getting ahead of that can be really strong. Okay, so she's like Fofo is going for a Reedstone food action again, very reasonable. Like that's also something you would need for the Reno anyways, and it's probably a little bit. I don't know if she has Farm Steward. I would probably take 5 play there. It's a very strong action. And if 4 clay 5 play go here, you're not getting renovate anytime soon. But
William builds a hearth, triggers Hillbend.
yeah, now this is really bad for Fofo, but you could see it coming. With Animal Tamer's Apprentice, you basically have to build a cookery. Now there's pressure on the sheep, which is never comfortable. Like a late sheep, you built the first fireplace. You're sort of supposed to get a decent sheep grab at least in stage 2, in the sense that people shouldn't be contesting you for it. But with Animal Tamer's Apprentice, you can sort of see why William is building a hearth, and it's really annoying. Like this is partially why, like, if they're late animals, you have to pay me a lot to get into the animal game at that point because it's just very inefficient.
Going back to his spot, keeping the food coming.
Yeah, I'm very confused about what Micah's doing because he could take 2 wood here and then get the next room if you wanted. Um,
Oh, I
but
see.
it's clear that I guess he got to a second clay, but then he's not renovating. This is fairly confusing. I'm strongly suspecting something like a Mason's Apprentice here. Like, this just looks like something degenerate because if you have a normal game, you never do this.
Sofo just takes two sheep and eats one. That's interesting.
Yeah, again, like you can do this. It's just very weird.
Yeah,
Kimball didn't build a room.
exactly.
I
He
mean, no
didn't.
one could. No one could, and I mean it's fine. It sort of helps him and helps Fofo because she doesn't have a start player, but he also doesn't go last, and he gets to potentially save a start player action. If Grow flipped here, for example, he would just not have to start. Um,
William's not getting in line to get parts either. He's just taking wood.
Also, a little bit weird given the Animal Tamer's Apprentice, but I can sort of understand it. He's not. I think he's maybe reading Eminem as not wanting to build, but that's a bit dangerous. You know? He also needs the food, so it's a food tight game, right? Like 4 wood is 3 wood and 2 food for him. So
Yeah, Minimal has parts now, so it looks like Andy's gonna build.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
After
last round, Kimball took 5 food, 5 clay, right? Like you definitely turn down a room and forcing the next person to take start player just to take that 5 clay action. It's strong. But he's in a little bit of a bad shape here because if people get back in line, which it's very easy for them, like William can just take Wheatstone food, build a room next round. I guess actually Kimball's probably safe because William cannot afford to start player build, which is the main danger. So he should be able to get his grow in second here. Just explain what I mean. Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
I was just curious if you think there's any reason for the one stable that Andy built here. Usually, you don't see one stable with a room, but
I mean, could be Remodeler. I know he doesn't like picking Remodeler because it's not a very good card, but like it is a perfectly reasonable card to play. He could also have a miner that provides him a little bit of space. This could be Storage Shed, which is the most common reason I would say. Is like, and he hasn't played any improvements yet. So, and an inventory manager, I'm strongly guessing it's the Storage Shed.
yeah, that'd
So,
be pretty good with inventory manager. That's a lot of resources.
yeah, Storage Shed for people who haven't seen this, like played with WM before. I think it's a WM card. It's a card that requires returning a stable that you've built back to your and removing it, basically putting it on the card. But then you get 1 resource for every minor improvement you play from that point onwards before you pay the cost. So, and an inventory manager gives you resources when you play improvements. So it's a nice little combo. I think. By the way, can you maybe speak a little bit closer to your mic, Derek? I'm finding you very faint. I don't know if that's just
Oh
me,
yeah.
but
How about now?
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to hear what you're saying.
And he
So,
just takes more read. He's just setting up.
not 6 clay, huh?
Patient here. Yeah.
And Kimball's getting really paid off here because I mean he's set up to basically grow, like renovate to something like the pottery and still have it up for a clay room if he wants. Yeah, this is definitely a very unusual game. People are playing interesting lines.
Yeah.
Mm. Fofo plows.
Just didn't have any
Definitely,
better to do, I guess.
definitely a little bit surprised Fofo didn't go for the 6 clay. She must be relying on Workaholic to get the clay for Farm Steward, or does not have Farm Steward.
She has another passing miner to keep Aramite alive, or
Looks like she grew without. Yeah.
yeah, not
Field is a very nice passing miner, but yeah, you're right that Mini Pasture would have done a lot of work here.
been a good one now. So it'll take a little while to get the workaholic
Yeah.
resources.
Also interesting here in that Kimball could, in theory, risk William not wanting to grow next round because he has Animal Tamer's Apprentice, but I would probably not do that. It would give him it does give William breeding sheep
Oh,
if he doesn't grow next round.
there's a storage shed. So.
Yeah, it looked likely. I mean, when you see someone not having played their improvements, there's usually a reason. Like usually you have an early miner to play. It's not like or you really misdrafted. So and Kimball's a good player. Like you can usually expect him to have some reason for doing what he's doing. This is a pretty good setup. I mean, hopefully he has some occupation that actually lets him play improvements, like give minor improvement actions or something. Because with late growth, you're not really going to get a lot of improvements out naturally. But yeah, overall the game's gone pretty well for him. He's getting to grow second despite potentially growing last. Like if everyone else was in line, his game would be really bad here because he would be growing in 10.
Yeah.
So this saves him quite a bit of pain.
Starting in the 4th seat with not wanting to play a miner to start player, can be awkward, but he just kind of just was patient and took good actions.
It helps that the person in front of you plays a Stonehouse Builder and doesn't sort of contest as much. They're like taking an action that's already been taken, so you get slightly better actions on average. Is this on Renovate? No, this is on Improvement. Okay.
He just plays it.
I mean, if you're playing this type of game, you want the BMW. But if Micah has nothing like really crazy going on here, his game looks pretty screwed because he's set up for a double build, but he's going to grow in 10. So he has very few actions this game. Overachiever, that helps a lot with improvements. So or you should probably zoom in an Overachiever for people who've never seen.
Pretty strong card.
Very strong card. Basically, whenever you grow, before you take the grow, before you actually play the minor improvement on the grow itself, you can actually play an additional major or minor improvement, and it's cheaper. So Storage Shed gives him a discount. Overachiever gives him a discount essentially. Storage Shed does more than give him a discount. It actually gives him a resource of his choice. So you can also like pay the cost and then take a stone or something, or a reed. And then Inventory Manager gives a resource. So this is just like you can see a game plan here where Kimball is probably hoping for slightly earlier growth, so you could play it like grow a bit more easily and play more improvements. Like Overtier doesn't really do anything if you're not growing your family, but fortunately, growing your family is something that's good. And so, for example, if he has something that lets him grow here with like a baby sling, I mean, baby sling wouldn't activate on this activation, but it would be quite good for future growths, and it would open the queue up a little bit later.
Oh, he's thinking, are we behind here? Because I feel like they're talking about he's growing, but
No, he's saying he's growing and he's going to play 2 improvements. Oh, Cornucopia. Okay. So he spiked basically the best card you can spike with Market Woman. How is he playing that? Oh, yeah. Overachiever works on this. That's really cool. That is absolutely legit. Yeah.
really, you get
Resource includes crops.
well,
So he's just saving the veg cost on that. And he gets to play that for 1 read. So zoom in on the card, I guess, just to see what we're talking about. So this usually costs a crop, and the way this card works is you pay a crop in, and then every harvest you get 1 crop back. But the cool thing about Overachiever is you can save the crop cost. So he doesn't pay the veggie, but he gets 1 veggie per harvest. And then because the vegetable is coming from a miner, Market Woman, when he plays it, will trigger and give him a veg grain instead. So it's just an absurd combo, probably the best Market Woman combo in the game. Comparable to maybe Bounty or Bookcase if you actually add Bookcase. Bookcase is probably better. But this is 5 veg, sick 10 grain as a minor and occupation combo.
That's really strong.
It's absurdly strong, and unfortunately, I think you need to refresh. By the way, you are behind on board.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out.
I think what's happening is Kimball hasn't finished his first action actually, so it's not been broadcasted to the table. That's probably what's happening because he's first, right? So the board only updates once the first person takes their first move for people, unless you manually refresh. So you don't have to like close the thing. You just have to click Control to refresh all. I think, and it'll work.
I'd opened on my other screen, unfortunately.
Okay, but nothing really has happened. Kimball has just played a really strong minor, and I mean this just sets up his game beautifully. If he has some way to plow easily, he will get so much value off his crops. It will easily feed him as well. He just needs to build Cooking Hearth. So I would strongly suspect he's going to build Cooking Hearth on Renovation here, probably. Or play Market Woman here and then Renovate next round. Or just, I mean, he doesn't have to Renovate, but with 11 clay, I expect to Renovate Cooking Hearth rather than a Cooking Hearth. Interesting that he didn't take... So wait, what were, can you show me the things that he took? The resources from his storage shed? Because he played 2 miners here, so...
He saved the veg.
Well, he saved the veg from Overachiever, but then Storage Shed also gives him a resource. So I guess he saved the read on both counts. Yeah, okay, he just saved the read.
Yeah.
The other miner does basically nothing, but it's free and it gets him a resource. So he got a wood out of it because of Inventory Manager, so might as well play it. He'll take it here potentially, but I don't think he's going to be taking Trip to the Lake very often from here. So it paid off for 1 activation, which is decent enough for a miner that gives you a wood and doesn't cost anything.
I mean, him just getting all these majors, he's going to have a lot of major points, but his farm is going to be so far behind unless he has a trick.
If he doesn't have a way to build like stone rooms efficiently, in the sense of like get the stone, and then quickly build out your stone rooms. That I don't really see his game doing very much here. Um, like having a ton of majors doesn't win you games, especially these type of games where growth is late. Like you can't even really have the actions to build a ton of majors. So
And looks like we assume Fofo has Farm Steward, and she does not have the parts to renovate, but
yeah, it does look like it, but her food is too horrible.
food is
Basically, she
too
can't do it
horrible.
right now. Yeah. What I expect is to see is, I mean, if William doesn't start player, she will get animal action next turn. So my expectation is actually to see maybe a fence here for Workaholic, or just renovation and just eat the animals and get the farm steward stuff going. Those are
Farm
sort of the two lines.
for William. You see that?
Yeah, it's Grain Elevator can be a really good card if people aren't interested in taking Grain, and it does happen. Like I've actually often played Grain Elevator and just played Grain Elevator round 1 or 2, and then had 4 grain, 4 grain, 4 grain, 4 grain, and got like no one was taking Grain, so I just took it at like a decent time and got
Jeez.
like 9 grain off of the miner or something like that. It can be pretty strong. Like it has the highest ceiling from a grain card perspective. Like nothing else really gives you as much grain for in terms of efficiency. Um, it's better than grain card usually. If well, not usually. Grain card is usually better, but grain elevator has the higher ceiling on the card and is cheaper.
Mm.
Um, if yeah, we saw fence, so Fofo's going to take 2 board to open. Her food is still troublesome, but I mean, everyone else has okayish feeding going, so she might just wheel the 3 food traveling player, 4 food traveling players, and she has an eremite, so she's already at 3 food, so it's not like she's starving. Getting breeding animals going is pretty important when you have a workaholic, and like workaholic is a card that pays you off for having animals, like when you, so you need to get that going. Late animals was probably sad for her. 5, 5, 7, 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The 5 is probably the critical one because that gives you the wood back, and then you can usually like fence more or build another room, whatever you want to do. Yeah. And Kimball getting to stay start player, having a really strong game. I mean, I fully expect to see Market Woman here because it's just stupid. I guess it's only 4 activations. Sorry, we were in the previous round, so I thought he'd played it last round, but he played it. I thought we were in the last stage, but he clearly just played it here, at this stage.
I wonder. There's no way he tries to get Hearth down first before playing it, is there?
He doesn't need to. That's why he took the fish, I think, just to make the tempo easier. There's no reason to play Hearth here, right? He doesn't need to eat, so as in, there isn't any reason not to, but like there's no urgency. He can just play his occupation, get the crops, and then play it next stage. Yeah. Interestingly, you also see this happen reasonably often in games with lots of stone inflation, which Stone Builder has done. There's 4 stone there, and honestly, no one's interested. Like, I think Micah might be the main person interested because he wants to build stone rooms. For everyone else, like that 4 stone is the well is gone, the basket makers is gone, so there are not that many majors remaining. And stone is kind of a terrible resource if you don't have the ability to build majors with it. So
Mike is just being so patient here. I wonder.
Well, he has to set up for the double build, and I think Farm Steward blows him out here if like he doesn't get ahead of Farm Steward, which very likely he doesn't. So, yeah.
Huge play here for Andy.
Yeah. Well, that first pick paid off big. Like Market Woman with Cornucopia is just broken. Like it's just so strong.
Yeah. Maybe the pick of Market Woman over Farm Steward paid off if you get Cornucopia.
Well, Market Woman is in theory a stronger card on average, and the reason is because you do get minor setups. Like you get these minor payoffs fairly often. Having said that, like I mean, I often like the consistency of Farm Steward because I feel like I can win a lot of games anyways, and like getting Farm Steward like just makes my game so like solid that I'm very likely to blow up very badly. But Market Woman is a stronger card, and the upside is insane. Like this combo is just insane.
Fofo went straight for the Hearth on the Reno.
Yeah, that hurts. Like that is, and I mean that was reasonably likely to happen. So he could have risked the Market Woman by renovating first, but so when you're getting vegetarian grain every harvest, he can just build a clay oven. Like
yeah, I was gonna say it seems like ovens are better anyway for him.
Apiary is a very strong card. Wow. Very, very nice payoff for Educator. I would say this is probably my favorite of the. Well, there are 2 4 occupation requirement miners that I really like. It's this one and Treasure Map. This one gives you so actions. Treasure Maps give you fields. Treasure Map is stronger, I think. It's probably a bit too strong. Apiary is just really good.
unfortunate he doesn't have a field here to get it for this harvest, but
Yeah, I mean late growth, right? The thing is, he'll still just turn like he sent a sheep, which a bit dubious actually. His food is not good enough for that. I guess he might actually have to take a so big action anyways just to get a massive bake, but yeah, I mean his food is very dubious here.
sends one to Omni Farmer. Yeah. Wow.
I'm wondering if he can afford that. I guess like hopefully, I mean he's hoping to get the sheep. He's never getting the sheep next round though, because Fofo's always going to take it.
And he
Like
just
Fofo takes 4 food here, breeds her animals, and then takes 3 sheep to open. That's perfect for her.
yeah, that's yeah.
Oh, she's playing occupation. Is she just going for the grow? This is also an interesting line, and this yeah okay. So this kills Maiko basically. He doesn't even get the grow in 10. However, this is like a big problem for Fofo herself because like William's probably just going to take the 3 sheep now, and her food is going to be such a problem. So
It's probably not going to will back to her. Yeah, because he's kind of starved too a little bit.
yeah, I mean she's being opportunistic here in that she doesn't have to SP for her grow, and it saves a lot of actions. It's a big risk though, and that 3 sheep action, if she was just first action 3 sheep, just set her up beautifully. Like
Huh. Food critic off the farm steward.
yeah, William can't afford to play that. Like, where's his food coming from? He's definitely not doing that.
Yeah, he's changed his mind on that.
Yeah, and Eminem is toast. Yeah,
He's done. Yeah, that's too
yeah.
bad for him.
But the thing is, I'm not convinced this is good for Fofo. I guess I guess the issue is that she needs to come first, probably. Second is not enough for her to qualify, right? Like,
That's true. Yeah,
uh,
she only if Micah wins is second good enough. So
which is never going to happen here.
yeah, at this
Like,
point, she's
yeah.
ensured that.
Also, this is looking a little bit like a clay hut extension from Kimball, maybe. I mean, it might just be a clay room, but he is because he has the perfect resources for Reno clay hub and build clay room. So, I like this could backfire pretty big, because I mean that workaholic is just not. It's going to be very hard to get stuff. Oh, Pelk roof. Wow, that came too late for her. She got really hurt by sheep being late. Like her game is very solid. It just required sheep being relatively early.
Yeah,
Yeah, and as she says, Aramite is dead. Okay, Aramite for 3 stages is about all you can really do if you have any decent miners.
yeah.
I'm not convinced what this Pelk roof is actually doing though. Like I would have just not played this because she's already growing without room. So building more rooms doesn't make any sense for her.
Yeah,
William is start building. That is crazy. Not taking 3 sheep. His food is so weird. I mean, his food isn't that bad. He gets a massive sobake when he wants, and that's probably the way he's gonna feed. So he's. But this is huge for Fofo though, because she gets the sheep back now, which is like
yeah, that's big time. And he
really
gets the
really
field
strong.
out, the
Yeah.
passive field out of it to get apiary started.
Yeah. So her gamble paid off pretty big. When getting the 3 sheep back here is pretty insane. Like
Yeah,
she'll, I mean, if she can take 3 sheep and keep them get another breeding pair, the workaholic gets very easy to hit. So.
Eminem's just forever behind here. I don't know how he can pivot.
Oh, he's just dead. I mean, he's dead. Like he had to probably stable block here to have any chance. Maybe William doesn't actually grow because his food is not good enough. But yeah, I mean, Eminem is just this game has not gone well for him. And I mean, it's sort of a clear problem. You play Stonehouse Builder. You take no wood in stage 1, just taking Reedstone foods. Even though you're getting landing net food, what are you actually doing with your game? The only way that works is if your plan is just to run out of stone immediately and have some crazy line for building 3 or 4 stone rooms, which you can. Like he had a stone cutter, and if he had any other support, he could have done that. But I mean,
Yeah, we sort of
this
thought
game
he was
plan.
going that way, but then when Reno flipped and
Yeah,
didn't take it, it's just
honestly, I would have just gone for the Reno at that point. You're already behind in the queue, and your stone rooms are cheap enough, and you already had the stone rooms for like you already had 4 stone. Like he had a line to 4 stone very easily. Let's say alternative designer. Okay, that's really nasty.
wow.
Wow. So Kimball can just build here, and oh well, William will build, but like Kimball can basically build a wood room whenever he wants because the clay are also fences for him.
Huh.
Like.
Didn't have to worry about
Which is
that.
pretty nuts. Yeah, this is a very good card for him here, and the fact that he got to take 6 clay, 5 clay, no one was pressuring the clay at all, is insane. When you have this card, like,
We assume Fofo's taking the sheep here, sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, come on, like, it's so much food. It's like it basically feeds her for the harvest. Almost like I guess Armite is dead, so not quite, but I still don't understand this Pouproof play. Like, it's 1 read for a Reno, maybe. It doesn't seem worth even turning off Aramite for this pelt roof.
William does build the room here. Jeez.
Yeah, he has Animal Tamer's Apprentice, right? So this is just extra sheep for him also, and he's quite hungry. So
Yeah.
I still think not taking the three sheep is a little bit dubious, but maybe he's fine. Like it might be again, William is a little bit behind, and it's the thing he needs to do. So you'll see people taking riskier moves, especially in tournament play when they know they need to, like for example, if Fofo wins and Kimball comes second, I believe William is out. So
Yep.
he
Yep.
maybe has to take a few more risks. Yeah, and it does look like Kimball's game is largely unassailable here in the sense that I don't think he can finish any worse than second here. So William is probably just hoping that Kimball finishes first here because then he qualifies.
Yeah. Yeah, because Fofo basically has to win unless she's second
Yeah.
and William wins, which looks unlikely.
The thing is that's why I would probably take the sheep there. Like if you take the sheep, like Fofo's game is set behind quite a lot, and and it's a good move for you as well. Like it's not like William is getting hurt by taking the sheep, but this is the more aggressive line, and if he manages to feed the stage, this works out quite a bit better. His wood situation is pretty screwed though. Like
I wonder. So he's going to build and try to open with a pair of cattle in his first round, move next round, I guess.
William, you might see William not growing here, um, but I wouldn't build a wooden room to not grow into it. It's just too costly. So
Hmm. I think maybe Andy was planning to build another room, but now that William jumped back in, maybe he backs away from that and just goes for the farm.
no, I don't think he was planning to build a room immediately because the animals are really good here, and William is forced to grow first action, so he can't take a breeding pair. So this fences makes a lot of sense. I think he has to leave enough clay behind to build an oven, though.
Yeah, his yeah, he has to feed here. Curious if he'll fence the way we
Yeah,
typically
so
see.
he's not going for the wood room at all at this point. Which,
Interesting.
but I mean, it's not. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have to go for a wood room. Six clay is exactly enough for a Reno clay oven, so yeah. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. It's just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Micah's talking in the chat about he should have just ran out of stone and wait for stone rooms, and he absolutely should have this game. Like his game is terrible, and there's no way he was recovering by doing this stuff. You either take the wood early and like go for wood rooms, or you ignore wood in stage one and you go for stone rooms. Like
Yeah, I mean, maybe he thought there was time to do both or something, get in on grow once in wood or something, and then do it. But grow coming late
yeah,
just crush that.
yeah. And an interesting move here that would really hurt Kimball to well, not really hurt him, but it would slow him down a little bit is if William decides to build a clay oven here, which he totally could. Like he has a lot of clay, he has a lot of grain. It's easy to take more grain for him. Um, but then Kimball has Reno Stone Oven, so it's not like he's dead or anything.
Right? Doesn't look like anyone else can take it.
Yeah, I think Micah misread the game momentum because I think he gets in line basically exactly the same time. Uh, he still gets farm. He might still get farm steward jump, but he might even be in a better position to not get farm steward jumped if he goes for the stone Reno. I don't see him being behind. He built his first rooms in 9, so he could probably get there, even going Renoing to stone.
Hmm.
Timetable. Interesting.
I guess Andy is going to get the cows, which is great for him.
Yeah, the cows are strong for sure.
Mike is just
And the really nice thing for Andy is no one is able to build both. There aren't two people able to build ovens, and nobody's able to renovate. So his food actions are completely unthreatened. So he can just take good actions first. Um, Normally, if you're in this situation where you have no food and major minor is literally your only way to not starve, you have to just build that major. Like you can't really afford to take two cows because if someone takes major, you die. And if someone else could renovate, I think I would still take the two cows, but you would be at least a little bit worried about it. But here, there's no problem. He just has renovation open to him. No one else does.
Popo triggers the first workaholic here.
Yeah, Popo's having a very nice game. Grow to 4.
Yeah,
She'll comfortably feed this round.
yeah.
She'll get
Some
to
traps and to figure out, but
yeah, but she has 4 actions and no one else does. Well, William just got his 4th action, but William is considerably more behind. compared to Fofo. He does have an apiary which can do a lot of work, but like Fofo is quite a bit ahead of William, I think, at the moment at least.
Eminem shutting down the elevator, doing all he can with two people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any situation in which he doesn't finish last year. This Hill Bandit has also been terrible. Like it has been
Doesn't think
two
it
clay so
is.
far. No, two.
Because Fofo upgraded the fireplace.
Yeah, I don't think that triggers the Hill Bandit, so it's just
Oh,
two. And right, and can you check Hill Bandit? I'm not sure, but I think you have to. No, okay, you're right. You're right. Three. So not quite as bad as I thought, but
yeah.
yeah, still not great.
Hmm. And he just takes more clay. Do you think he is angling for the pottery here too eventually, or is this another room we're looking at? Surely not another room at this point.
It should be a room. I mean, pottery is not good for him.
I guess he doesn't mind a start player to get to grow into it in a couple of years
He's.
with the manager and
I mean, the thing is, we'll probably see him prioritize plows and then either build a room or pottery, whatever turns out to be efficient. Like both of those are perfectly reasonable options. I would guess room personally because like pottery is not very good here.
yeah, especially if he doesn't mind to
Well,
start
if you look now,
playing.
what happens? Like basically, William is taking six clay, right? So there's going to be six clay and 14 maybe, but it's also possible like might take some clay. At which point, well, if you build pottery, I guess Eminem is never taking clay here. So maybe you'll get a six clay action in 14 to make it worth building the
Yeah,
pottery.
but
But
Fofo is hanging on to start player going into 12, which is really strong.
no, I mean, she took star player. What?
Oh, buried treasure. I said I missed that.
Yeah, I think William was star player going into 11 because he grew first action. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, I mean, Fofo is doing the right thing, taking a crop. So if Plauso flips, she can take it. But if Grow flips, you just take you. It's still really, really good to get the fifth action at this point. So
And she should breed into four clay from the workaholic. Although I don't know, maybe she goes for pottery just to trickle some extra food.
Fofo's probably more interested in building the pottery because I mean she could build rooms with pulp roof, but it doesn't do anything.
Does
Like
get
the
the wall
room,
here. That's huge.
perfect. Yeah, very good, very strong for her. Yeah, I mean Fofo has a chance here. Like it could very well go Fofo first, Kimball second, William third, Michael fourth, which is what she needs to win
Yep.
to qualify. I mean she just needs to come first, I guess. But it is like it's very. I think it's fairly clear that Fofo and Kimball are having the best games, but I think Fofo might be ahead because like her crop situation is obviously nowhere near as good. Like Kimbal's just getting to max crops for free, which is dumb. Um, but she's ahead on that, a little bit ahead on animals, a little bit ahead on growth, like considerably ahead on growth. Um, she has more plows, and plows are very contested right now. Plows flipping late means people aren't really going to be getting their plows. So
Yeah, I wonder if anybody has any kind of plow help because no one's really gonna have a lot of points for
yeah.
plows.
So like this is sort of a signal where Kimball taking plow first action in round one suggests that he probably doesn't have much of a plow help. He still could, of course. Like he could have like mediocre plow help instead of really good plow help, which would still be enough here to score. The thing is, like he, the only reason he really needs plows is plows are 2 point actions. He never really needs to sow too much because he's just maxing his crops naturally. Although one sow bake will help him feed, so he might be still interested in that. You know,
Yeah. We might
it's
have a few bonus points coming in off Omni Farmer and Food Critic, so maybe he squeaks in
I mean,
there.
this food critic is going to be a few points, yeah, but not very much. I think Williams has a pretty nice game plan going. It's just late growth is not ideal for him. Or like, let me rephrase that. Late growth would have been very good for him if he just built the first room or something, because Animal Tamer's Apprentice means he gets paid off for that room even if he has to park. And but he got his room in fairly late. His main problem is his food situation is so bad here. Like he
Yeah.
has an apiary, but he probably just has to sow bake and bake the grain, like bake a massive amount of grain.
There's the pottery.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we figured.
Kimball played cookies. Oh, cookies is very strong here for him. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets to.
Yeah. That way, can he
He'll
start?
just.
Actually,
Well, he's going to renovate stone oven here. My guess is he's going for grow rather than Plauso. I mean, Plauso is nice in the sense that he has some crops to sow, but I
Yeah,
feel like
well, I mean, I can't tell if he's going to build a room or go for the Plaso. Plaso's
why
good
does
too. Yeah.
why does Kimball only have one veggie? Did he eat one at some
Yeah, he
point?
ate one raw in the last harvest. He had to.
Ah, ouch! That really hurts. Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, it means he probably wants to sow anyways at some point to just get food. Like Renostone Oven doesn't quite feed him through the game. Oh, that's very close.
Hey, there's a little plow help. Melon patch.
It's one plow.
Yep.
This is what I thought like Kimball might have. Like that would make sense for like Kimball in the sense that he took one plow, he has a melon patch to give him a little bit. Although he might have tried to actually get more crop sown or a little bit earlier if he had melon patch.
Yeah, he's just slowly building his farm. Like getting a breeding pair of sheep is 3 points total here.
His main issue his main issue is plows and the fact that he's two family members behind Fofo. But he just needs to come second, and I think he's beating William at the moment pretty comfortably. So
So the real question is, does he build a room with his last plow?
he will open plow sown rather than grow right. Actually, he's definitely going to be going for a room. He'll just grow into it in 14. That's a guaranteed 3 points. That is easy, and he has extra clay for the stone oven that he needs.
Yeah. So he might still build a room to force Eminem to grow first action, maybe, and then he start players or something. I don't know. Is his second action? Yeah, he
I
is.
mean, Eminem only has one empty room, so Kimball just gets to grow in 14. He doesn't have to. If he start players, it's for Plauso, and I mean, he might start player, which is quite strong, but it will be for Plauso. Yeah.
Okay,
Also, he gets to build two stables here, which is just two extra points.
sure.
He's not doing anything with the wood, so. Oh, he built two extra stables. I thought he would only build one because having the clay for stone oven seemed really good.
He
I
will get
guess.
it back
I guess.
by doing something. Maybe playing a miner will get it back for him.
Well, he can grow with it because of overachiever. He can just like save the clay on.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, there's also the danger. I think we're very likely to see William renovate to the stone oven here. So, I I, I guess Kimball was in a bit of a hard place because Major was blocked and he wanted to build a room, but this is going to be stone oven.
Oh,
So,
William builds a stone oven. Yeah. Dang.
I mean, he needs to. Otherwise, he's starving. Like this shifts the equation a little bit though, because Kimball's food is now not great.
Yeah, can't
So
complain.
my guess is he has a minor oven because I think he doesn't take these risks without that.
Yeah, you don't see him take too risky of lines usually.
Well, if people are thinking about the tournament in mind and the scoring in mind, then there's not much reason for Kimball or William to take huge risks here. Like if they finish second, they qualify, so
Right. Right.
they can play a relatively safe game.
Fofo's
But
in good shape to pass if Andy gives it to her, but he's
no, no, no. I mean, he just built a room. He's obviously plowing, right? Like, but Fofo gets plow. Plow's good enough. He doesn't really need plow, so
yeah, can't probably two cattle though, maybe. For plow. Yeah, because
yeah,
Fofo got three. I guess that's
yeah. I guess that's reasonable. Yeah.
or
It also
four.
immediately gives her the stone, which means he can pelt roof and then renovate.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fofo's having a very good game here. If she takes one more grain and sows, that's 3 points on grain and 2 points on veggies already.
William takes the boar,
Um,
which
unsurprising.
yeah, it's not,
Yeah. He's just gonna send a boar to the future, to not to the future, to Omni Farmer probably. Wow, he has turned all of those resources into Food Critic. Is that right? How's that possible?
some of that's for Omni Farmer, I think.
Oh no, the top stuff is he's turned the same things in for
Oh,
Omni Farmer and Food
timetable.
Critic.
I think that's
That's
timetable.
timetable. Yeah, yeah. I just didn't understand how he turned a clay reed stone into Food Critic because he has no way to eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Micah. Just like this is. I
Oh,
mean, I wouldn't say I like his game plan, but yeah, he's absolutely got shafted here. Like this, very like the farm steward killed him.
does Andy have to take food here? I know he can grow, but like he has no food.
And he can't. And he doesn't need to grow here. I doubt we'll see him grow here. Like plow is open. I fully expect a plow action and then some way to solve food. If he has no way to solve food, you could see some trouble. I agree. Like you might see him take food here. So we'll find out soon if he has a way to solve food.
This play, yeah.
Like star player minor being an oven would just be absolutely disgusting here.
Hmm.
Like an iron oven would just be phenomenal.
That's something, yeah.
Yeah, that means his food situation is not solved easily. the star player is good regardless because he just gets the. Yeah, okay. Oven upgrade, perfect.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
that is big.
Yeah, I mean, he was far too cavalier about that stone oven, which he could have built basically at any time in the game. To not have something here, I think. So this makes a lot of sense. His food
So
problems are solved. He gets cookies. He'll
does he
rebuild the
have
clay oven.
yeah, unblockable grow next round as a late action?
Yeah, so he can just take clay. I mean, he can just already build a clay oven with the resources he has. So he can just grow clay oven.
Got two
It
clay
doesn't look like
ovens.
anyone is building the clay oven here, so. And he gets a massive plow sow. He probably won't be able to sow all of his grain because he needs to bake some, but
Ooh,
that's not really a
Fofo.
big deal.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
Really
Fofo's
nice.
having a phenomenal game. Like,
So she
so the
needs
question
this,
really
right?
is, can she beat Kimball? Yeah. Yes, she needs this. Yeah, but can she beat Kimball? That's the big deal here. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's the. So Williams' wood situation got a little bit better with the 6 wood grab there.
yeah, getting 6 wood can solve problems. That definitely helps. But Williams also not getting enough plows here because there just aren't enough plow actions available to people in this game. So
Wonder. Yeah, what's the play for Andy? I don't
he's just
know.
gonna. This is actually
No
riskier
one's
than.
growing, so he's taking the grow to.
Yeah, but this is pretty risky. Like
He
he
does
doesn't have an
go
easy way to build clay
overachieve.
oven next round.
Does overachieve work on this grow? I think it does.
He's playing backyard well. Interesting. Okay.
Huh.
I wonder if this is. I mean, it's a really good miner to play. It's just 2 point. It's 3 point miner, so like very strong here. He gets to overachieve and basically get one of the stone that he needs back, and maybe take a plus wood inventory manager.
Double wood. Wonder what he's after.
Not a clay. If he took a clay and saved a stone, then he would have perfect resources for a clay oven, which well, it seems stronger to me. He must have some
I
some.
guess he blocks the grow from them, but doesn't he have to eat a raw crop now or something to feed this round? He needs 9 food now.
No, he's only
Oh,
four
no,
people.
that's
He
right.
needs
Yeah,
7.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he just blocked it off from William getting it.
Yeah. I mean, if he has some other trick to feed, or if he wields family growth without room next round, then he
Ooh,
could just family grow without room, overachieve the clay oven. I still would prefer to have a 3 clay 1 stone here. This again suggests that he has some way to some other oven, because again he's a good enough player to realize his. I mean, this is a very easy fix for his resources. So,
it'd be interesting to see what he has here.
can you show me inventory manager?
I think it's
Is it
on.
before or after the action? Okay, I don't believe Kimball can do what he just did because he didn't have the wood to before, right? So he has to shed a wood, not a stone.
S shed, not wood.
Like he plus wood shed, plus wood inventory manager saves stone, but he didn't have any wood to play the miner, and so the only way he could play the miner is to either overachieve the wood, which he didn't. He overachieved the stone, or he storage sheds the wood.
I
So he
think
can't.
you. No, it only costs 1 wood, so the storage shed would
He,
cover it.
but he didn't. He S shed not wood, which means he used both storage shed and overachiever for stone, which I don't think he can.
Huh.
Yeah, like he could. You're quieted, I think, so you're gonna have a hard time telling
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah, I was gonna say.
I guess no one else noticed, so we just continue. Like, I mean, there's nothing we can do at this point. So I think what he did is slightly illegal,
So
but
he
it may not make a
started to
big deal.
start with right, and then
But then he changed
he
it.
switched
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
like he cannot end with 2 stone. I think here, because yeah, I think that's not possible.
I don't know if I should. Maybe maybe we missed something, or should I text anything?
I mean, ultimately, if this is letting him play a 2 stone miner, or a 3 stone miner, like an iron oven or something, then this could be a pretty big deal. But if not, then it doesn't really matter. So, clay oven he can still play. Like he could have just taken the clay with the inventory manager and had 3 clay 1 stone, and then the clay oven would just be playable. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think.
I mean, you can private message him. I don't know. Like I guess it's up to the other people to realize maybe in a tournament. Like, but he had no wood, right? I don't remember seeing him have any wood before.
Yeah, that's the part I can't.
Yeah, so see, he has to either overachieve a wood or sword shed a wood then, because it has to come before the cost. He can't inventory the wood for it. I mean, I can Discord message. I don't want to disturb him though. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Just in the middle of it. Maybe it was right, and we just missed his wood count before that. Maybe he had one or something. I wasn't watching his
I
stream.
no, he did not. I know. I remember that recently well because he built stables and he had no wood left.
And he didn't get one off the baker's kitchen.
Did he take a wood off the baker's kitchen? Where did he take off the baker's kitchen? Can you show me? Maybe he took a wood there. In which case, it's fine. +2 clay inventory mancha. Yeah.
Wait, but
I
can't
don't.
you use clay?
Not for miners. only for fences and stables.
Hmm,
So the thing is, like,
makes sense.
at any point he could have like solved this issue. Like, what he could have done is taken a wood with storage shed before, and then taken a clay with inventory man. So it's perfectly reasonable for his thing to end up here. I think his last specific move was not entirely legal, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I don't feel like it's like if you're quieted and no one's talking, it's not really up to us to interfere here. Other people have to like be paying attention.
All
It
right.
is a bit hard on this site to pay that attention though, so I can see why people.
Yeah. See, Eminem's wondering if he has two stone after the well.
But like Micah was probably not paying attention enough to keep track of all the resources.
Yeah, it is hard. There's a lot going on with all that stuff, so it is tricky between overachiever, manager, and storage shed.
Yeah. I mean, I think in Kibalt's mind, he got 3 resources, so he just distributed them as he needed to. It's not like he's active. Like I'm not saying he's trying to cheat or anything, but inventory manager has a different timing. So
Wow. Opens family
yeah,
growth
no,
and
he has
then
to family growth so that he gets the clay oven. So again, not a problem here because he built the clay oven. It doesn't matter
yeah,
largely
it would only matter if it was like a something that cost.
because he could have just taken a clay instead, overachieve, and then like move some resources around and save the stone on this overachiever. And like it just wouldn't have mattered. So we can just let this go. It made no difference to the
Wow,
game.
this is huge for Fofo though. Getting the paso here, that probably does secure the win for her. I mean, I haven't looked at scores, but that seems massive.
Yeah.
And then that's a grow that William and Micah
I
did.
mean, yeah. I still think William not taking the 3 sheep there just gave Fofo so much. And in the context of the tournament, yeah.
38. Fofo's at 42.
They're kind of tied right now. Like
27.
and Fofo is running out of points, so Fofo might still not finish first here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not that many points available to her. She can take a grain. She can take a boar. But very likely Kimball just takes a boar here.
She's probably gonna have to eat some points too. Looks like.
And she has pottery. She does have a pottery 6 clay pottery grab available to her, which is nice.
Sure.
So that's 5. She needs 5 more food. Yeah, I mean, she needs a little bit more food, but she also has actions and almost no way to score points anymore. Like, there's a 1 point move in grain, 1 point move in boar. There is a 2 point move in clay, 2.2 food move. So that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Kimball
There's
does.
also 2 sheep, which is always a point at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Kimball might be able to get this one.
Yeah, I think William is definitely not trying to play for tournament scoring here, but if he did, he should probably. I guess it doesn't matter. Like taking that plow, like I think his score is largely irrelevant, right? Like what is his score right now?
Uh,
He's finishing 3rd guaranteed, basically.
probably.
29 plus, yeah, yeah. I mean, even with Omni Farmer, he's
Well,
not making
it's
the gap up.
Omni and Food Critic points. I can't.
His Omni will be 4 Omnis, which I think is 2, 3, 5, 7. So 7 point Omni and because he'll have to throw a veg away to it. I think he doesn't have a better way to do that. His Food Critic will probably I think it'll probably just be 3 things at best. So Food Critic's not going to be very much.
He
So
should get
I
like
think
a
he's
cow
pretty locked into
here.
3rd.
He'll get a cow. He'll apiary the veg down, so he
Yeah,
still has 2 veg points.
or grain, same. Like appearing either of those is the same. Yeah.
Um,
So I think he's a pretty locked in 2nd place, 3rd place. So at this point, he should just be doing like, if from a tournament scoring perspective, he needs to just do whatever possible to make Kimball come first, which is very weird, but that is the optimal gameplay for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which he couldn't really do anything about. He had to take the boar. Like Kimball had boar or plow, so William took plow there. But I honestly would have tried to leave plow open for Kimball, just like funnel points into Kimball. But I think the problem is Micah then takes plow probably because it's 3 point plow action. Actually, no, he has melon patch, so it's only 2 points for him. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, that's what I would be doing
She
if I
has a
wanted to.
point. What else does she have for points? Another food
Fo-
action, maybe?
yeah, food action is a point. Yeah, like she can eat 1 grain, so she's at 4 food. She can eat 1 clay, so that's 6 food. She only needs 4 food, so that 4 food action is basically a point here. It saves a cow, which is a point. Um, aside from that, grain is a point. So cow, grain, and not much else.
And he triggers Market Woman the hard way this time.
Yeah, it's just a 1 point move. I think it's just a grain. Like
Yeah.
he is already maxed veggies from the harvest, so. Yeah, to me, it does look like Kimball is going to squeak this because. No, actually, maybe not. Maybe not. It's very close.
Sheep, yeah.
Yeah, Fofo is also breeding 1 extra point over Kimball, and she got to take a 2 point move there with
Oh,
the
she
clay. So,
blocks the grain elevator again here for William.
well, it's not a block so much as it's one of her only point moves.
Yeah, yeah.
The other points obviously would be if she just has an occupation or a minor that provides points. Like,
She has grain, food, and whatever she can do with the last one.
yeah. I mean, it might be grain and then 2 food actions if 4 food goes. So.
I guess grain would have been a point for Andy. I don't know what other point actions he has, but so is this only one person getting to stone this game? That's interesting.
You might have to refresh. No, I think Fofo's thinking.
Yeah, I don't see.
Micah gets. Oh, she does have an occupation. Okay, this could be big.
Oh,
Oh no. I mean, it gives her an extra point, but I'm not sure it's worth it.
maybe her last action wasn't going to be worth anything. So,
But I don't think this. I don't think this is worth. I'm not sure this is worth it because. I mean, she can eat a boar, so she's actually already at 8 food. I forgot about the boar. Maybe. I mean, she's probably hoping Liam takes the grain here, but if not, then it just gives Andy another point. But it also Andy might also have an improvement. Grain bag also. Fascinating.
interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't guess anyone
Oh, by the way, I think Micah double renovates here. So. Oh, he doesn't.
What did
No, he
do?
does. He's on renovents. Yeah. Okay. So
Oh,
he can renovate again. So he'll get a stone. Yeah, I mean his score will end up being like not as bad as it looked. Like he'll get some stuff here because he's plowing. It's not going to be great. I think he's still fourth, but he managed a decent recovery in the sense of score. But you're still
ooh.
fourth, so
Oh, 1 point fence move for Andy there on the end.
yeah. 2 points, I think actually.
Oh yeah,
Mm,
extra pasture, extra spot. Yeah.
yeah. And he gets a grain point in the harvest. So yeah, it's gonna be very very close.
Nice card for Popo there.
Doesn't do anything.
Oh, because she didn't have enough extra veg.
It's a 2 food move basically. It just feeds her essentially. So it's equivalent to just taking food off the board here. But like
Blocks a spot maybe a little bit.
yeah, in a way that doesn't matter because honestly, she just has to get to Kimball's score. I think a tie is enough for her to qualify, or maybe not. I think a tie was enough though, right? If Kimball and Fofo tie for first and second.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't calculate on the ties.
Yeah, Eminem did hit 30.
Jeez. 50.
Yeah, I
Let's see
mean,
if Popo can get to 50. She's at 44,
breeding
45,
breeding 2 points. This looks not.
47.
She has a 2 point grain action available. So 46, 47, 48. I think she's short by 1 point, unfortunately.
Wow.
Williams squeaks through with 1 point.
Yeah, unless we calculated something wrong, I think.
Very
I mean,
tense endgame for like
yeah, there's a lot of. Oh yeah,
for first place.
49. Wow,
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
than
I mean they
that.
were both having great games, and in a late grow game, 50 and 49 are pretty good scores. Late grow and food tight game, relatively speaking. So
42 for
yeah,
Frank, and get end up
yeah. So it does look like Fofo comes second, which is not going to be enough, I think. Right? I
That's
think if we looked at the
correct.
scores,
Let's program it in here and see. So Kimball gets to 12.5.
seven. No,
Fofo gets to 12.5.
the difference is only 3.75, and the difference between their scores is actually I think she might be ahead by like 0.25 points.
And
No,
then,
she's down by 7.75. Okay, I miscounted. Oh yeah,
uh,
4.5 is the difference between the scores. Yeah,
oh wow, but yeah, within a point of making it. Yeah,
yeah, it's
Frank would
unfortunate.
have to win.
I mean, she played a really good game here. I'm like,
I guess
so
if Eminem and WSC switched though, she could have had it. Like if
yeah,
Eminem came in third, that would have worked. But
yeah, yeah,
wow,
yeah.
jeez. Well, that's kind of
And-
fun. That's what we wanted by doing this kind of playoff format. So that's good.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a success of this, and like William did better than Fofo during the regular season. That shouldn't be invalidated by one game. So
Right.
she got very close and had a good chance of getting there, and it doesn't happen sometimes. Like, um, I don't know if you'll be able to post, but let's see.
Oh, that's true. No, I won't.
Oh, the people watching can see.
I'll take the Discord. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know when the finals will be. We'll let them figure
Yeah.
out when the time works. And I'll let you know. We can try to broadcast that one too.
Yeah, we can tell. We can go and Pastor Andy by telling him he made an illegal move, but it ultimately didn't matter, so it's
It
fine.
turned out not to matter. Yeah, with
Yeah.
without another song card. But
Yep.
okay. Well, thanks for broadcast again. I'll get this up
Yep.
sometime in the
Sure.
next couple of days.
If the finals is at a reasonable time, I'm happy to help with that too. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm actually glad they pushed it back from Thursday because I ended up working on Thursday till like 8:30 Pacific time. So it would have been I would have been able to take time out to do this, but it would have been difficult. So,
Yeah. Okay. Talk to you
anyways,
later, Sid. See ya.
so wait, the finals are Kimball, WC
Uh,
Frank, Doe Academy, and Mike Check.
Mike Chike.
With
Yeah.
Kimball as like first seed, or but like the scores are close enough that well, literally, if any of Kimball, Mike Check, or Doe Academy win, they just win. And then if William wins, he might need. Can William even win? So William gets
Uh,
12.5. I think William is unfortunately just out of it. Um,
already, huh?
so actually, wait, no, he can win if all three of the other people tie for. If all three of the other people tie, can he win? So that's 3.75 plus 7.5 plus 1.25. Oh, actually, 25% more points. Is it the same scoring, or is it 25% more on top of the
It's just the
25% more
same
that you've
same as
already
the
done?
playoff. So
Okay, so then they were split. What 7.5 plus 3.75 is 11.25, and then 12.5. Okay, so there's 25 points in total. That makes sense. Um, and so basically they would all average 12.5 divided by 3, which is an annoying thing to have to like count, but it's roughly 4 and a bit. It's like 4.16 points. So 12.5, 8 points. No, I think Kimball would still win in that situation. So yeah, I think William is unfortunately out from winning the overall tournament, but he can improve his ranking in this. Yeah,
let's see.
like he can finish
No,
second in the standings,
he can beat out. Oh, but
but then he cannot beat out whoever finishes second. Is the problem. Like they're all too far ahead of him.
yeah, that's
He
true.
can he can
No
he
matter
can
what.
finish as high as second in the scorings, but he cannot get any better than that.
Hmm. Interesting.
For example, basically, if Kimball, if they all tie, for example, and no one finishes second, then maybe if Mike Check and Doe Academy tie for second, and Kimball finishes last, that might be doable. Let's see, how many points is that? 5 points roughly. 7? No, that's still
Yeah,
two. That still looks like
I
two.
think he still misses.
Yeah, so 3.75 plus 7.5 is what? 11.25. So they would get each 5.5 points roughly. 7 points. Yeah, no, it's a little bit too big, unfortunately. He can't cover the gap to first, but he can finish second in the standings, and that's still worth playing for. He just has to
Yeah,
win. If he
yeah.
wins, I think he just finishes second in the standings. Well,
All three of the
if he
others
wins,
can win by
yeah,
just winning the final. Yeah.
yeah. whoever wins, if William doesn't, basically whoever finishes highest amongst Kimball, Mike Chike, and Doe Academy will win this.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll let you know when it is. Appreciate you joining the
Yep, sounds
podcast.
good.
Talk
Yeah,
to you later.
that's fun.
Her have Plasso and grow to make sure William couldn't
Whoa.
get it.
I think I think Plasso is a lot worse for you though. When Family Girl comes with overachieving, you just build that. You just do that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
look, it's the I build this clay oven. It's feeding. It's 2